I grew up in La Panne, which is outside Newey. I lived on a small island there. My dad was quite well to do, and we had a lot of things. What happened is I got sent to a boarding school, and there I was kind of a punk, and I had a clique, and we all did these things. It was kind of the way it was. The thing was, we all listened to David Bowie because he wasn't a way we see. It was like a joke we told. And then when the Zom attacked, we were all very much like him, and we all thought it was irony. And we said, we just dress this way now because, he's not alive anymore. So it's who we were. The joke is that it happened, and like 28 days later, it went back and it wasn't that anymore. But I remember it. We fought hundreds of these things, and we were all holed up in this university style building for what seemed like a year, but it wasn't even that long. And we fought all these things, and people were turning, and we had to kill each other. It was terrible. It was a nightmare, and everyone we knew already turned, and nobody could get a phone call through, and we were just stuck there. And we had dwindling supplies and all these things. And we fashioned guns and knives out of forks and spoons. It was as bad as you can imagine, but that was only the beginning of how it went. By the time we're at like 1 year in, and I said 28 days, and I do mean it, it was almost 50 years or something, 58 years, and we were just there. That was our spot. We knew it. We had it holed up. You could not get in there without us opening a gate or all sorts of things. It was the little town inside of this university style building, and it was slowly falling apart, and we knew it was only a matter of time before they broke down a wall or some other thing because it was starting to crumble near the center. All of us were like, yeah, well, this is the end, I guess. And we eventually decided that eventually we would all figure out where to move to. And we couldn't figure out where to go. We had been there so long, we didn't even have a map. So we started getting maps, and eventually we found out there was this place up north where some people allegedly were. So one by one, we started heading out there on our own to try to get to it. And only a few made it, like one of 20, and it was bad. Allegedly, things were worse other places, but here it was out in the woods kinda, and people didn't pass by this way very much. So we were kind of forgotten about, but they were all over. Throughout the woods they were in it, and it was just because they were wandering from here to there or wherever they were. And it wasn't like there was a lot, but you could not dodge them enough because there were too many. And for a year we just sat there and ate like poisoned cream cakes that were not good anymore, and we loved it. It was great. We lived to see it, and we watched TV until the TV was busted, and everything was how a kid would do it. And then we realized that we were squandering what little we had because when it started to run out, we're like, okay, well, now what do we do? And we raided the nearby towns and we started growing our own crops, and it was pretty bad. And everyone said, well, this is the end, I guess. So a couple of us went back and cleaned it up some. We realized that this is like a holdout or something, and we had a shell, is what we called it. And this is where we hid anything we had that was of actual value, including an AR-15 and things like that we would hide to keep for a day when things were really bad or poor. This is what we see. So one day I'm just walking around the town, which is basically empty, and just like that, I'm back in school, and I go, hey, what's going on in here? He's like, oh, the teacher's just about to give us a pop quiz or something. And that's what he does, and I'm just inaffectionate, and I realized something. Somebody went back in time. And so I'm sitting there trying to remember how to do this, and I'm like, oh, I have a headache. Can I? He's like, sir, you can't complain at my school. He's like, I don't know what I see right now. I'm having a spell. They said, are you really sick? He's like, I'm having a time travel experience. So they took me to a room and they tried to interrogate me, but I was bereft of my intelligence. And I said, I remember things that didn't happen anymore. So I had been there for merely a day or two, and I'm having these spells. And they go, well, what did you guys do to him? You guys gave him something, didn't you? And I was almost sent home, but then they decided to put me in the back where the stupid kids are. Since I was a stupid kid, I had a whole new lease on life. So what I did is I started going around and making it my place and getting prepared for the end and counting all the things and putting everything in line and hiding weapons and all sorts of stuff. And they found out I was a nutcase. So after this, basically, I did graduate. I just finally put myself toward the task, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll just ride this out. It didn't happen, and that's all I know. But I remember it. There was a guy named Bowie, and we always talked about him because he was a nut, and he would come and he would steal stuff from us because we would let him. It was crazy because things weren't how they were that way. And so when I look back on my life now, because it's been several years since any of this, since the story I told, and I go, how do I see the way I see it anymore? And they said it will happen eventually. He says, but it was like the 1960s here. That's what they don't seem to see. And that's what everybody else said, is that it happened differently for almost everybody in some abstract way, and we don't know how it was anymore. It was like 1963. Everyone saw it. It wasn't outstanding in any way. It happened basically overnight. Nobody could have predicted it in any way or seen it. Just like that, it was the same day before it was. And everyone saw that. They figured out how to go back. And that was how it happened. I don't know, they say the 33rd time. And it's just an infinite time loop, allegedly. I talked to a guy named Bona who allegedly knows everything about time travel and has seen the TARDIS. And he said, yeah, sometimes when they go back, it's carte blanche. And he says, we don't know why it keeps happening. Apparently they don't know how to do something, or the up is screwed up. That's when I found out about the up. Before that, I didn't even know the up existed. So when I found out about that, I tried to see it, and eventually I got to go with somebody, and we ended up making this game. You saw it's not that special. It's an okay game, but whatever. People, it has some kind of a cult following and whatever. So eventually we decided, you know what, let's do these GTA titles. And so that's pretty much the whole story. And we and these guys over there and these guys over there, we all have a party and we talk about these weird things we saw, and we come up with some kind of a ill logic, and then we build a game around it that's logic, and then we go, well, this is like a game. And then that's how the thing runs, and that's what we've been doing the entire way, because we have a very good storyboarding game master type guy that knows everything about D&D, and he says we can see it. So it's pretty much how it goes. And I know it's like a stupid story now, but at the time there was nothing else to see. We're going to make another one about how the world ends to it, and then they go, you know what, this is going to be really weird for somebody when we release the new GTA 4 or 5. And they go, yeah, I imagine that would be pretty weird. And they go, yeah, so maybe we'll put it off for a while and then just update it as we go, and it'll actually be a good title this time. Because we were sad about the quality once the PS2 had gone by. We go, it's not as good as I remember. And then other things had occurred, and we go, you know what, we can make this a lot better than it was, and Bully 1 might get a revamp too. So we had planned this, and we go, no, let's not do this. And eventually it might not come up, but maybe it will. So eventually we talk to these guys, and they're like, okay, we don't want to move on it at all now. And we go, okay, that's fine. We just went into the background. I go, well, what are you going to do about it anyways? So it's not important now, and I'm just around. See, they know I'm an important detail because it actually sold a few copies and made the company big. So it is what it is, and we try not to look at it like I haven't contributed or anything, but it's starting to show that it's like that. So in the upcoming days, they might worm me into the GTA 6 or some other thing we see. We haven't decided exactly how to do it, but things are going really bad, and I wanted to talk to Hank Hill, but he won't see anybody anymore because of Jeanette being a bitch or something, and I don't know what's going on there, because these guys see him in some way, and until that's all sorted out, it won't be anything we see.